Hiya, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Now you may remember about 18 months ago I made a chess set. I made it with a set that I bought from Amazon that was really not very good at all, and it took me an absolute age to make. I'll link it in the top left hand corner. It was a lovely chess set, but it took me forever. Now Resin have just brought out or just released their chess set that is now available in the UK. They very kindly sent me a set to try. So yeah, let's see how I get on with the Resin chess set. So this is the chess set that's now available in the UK. They do sell it in America and other places as well. And at time of recording, it is £24.99 in the UK, which I think is a really reasonable price for what you get in the packet. You get 6 colours: white, blue, pink, black, orange and green. And there's quite a lot of mica in those little packs. You get 2 bags, beautiful material to put your pieces in when you've created them. Now I have had a look and it does say you only get 1 bag in the set. For some reason I got 2, but maybe that's just how it is now. You also get the standard leaflets that give you tips and tricks and also tell you what else they sell. And you get a whole bag of pieces. Now these pieces are not small, they're a decent size. We'll find out more about those in a minute. You also get a mould for checkers, also known as drafts. So if you want to play drafts on the chessboard, you can play drafts. And last but not least, you get the board mould itself. And it is a really nice size board as well. So the main reason I wanted this set was to make a chess set. Now when I had a chess set made before, I had 1 pawn piece. 1. You need 8 pawns in each side of a chess set. So if you're going to do 1 paw, that's 1 single paw in a pawn mould, it's going to take you 16 days. With this set, you get 8 pawn moulds. Every piece that you need for 1 set, 1/2 of the chessboard, you have a mould for. And the moulds are gorgeous. I really wanted to see how good they were compared to the set that I had before. You have the entire half a set. Now as I wanted to make a Christmas chess set, I thought it would be nice to have a black and white glitter base, and that azure blue glitter will be stunning in chess pieces. That was my train of thought. So Resin very kindly sent me the glitter pack as well. So what I decided to do was mix the glitter in with some clear resin. There's no pigment in this, it's just glitter. My train of thought was the glitter would show through. It didn't work as well as I'd hoped, but it did colour the resin black, and at the end of the day that's what I needed. So I mixed it up to a thick consistency so that I could then spread it across each little box without worrying too much about it being out of control. This did take a long time. I'm not going to deny it. It took a long time. I wanted to make sure there was few bubbles as possible in the corners, so I used a disposable paintbrush to push the resin into each edge and each corner. And because it was thick, it wasn't running and it didn't move as easy as it could have done. I don't recommend this. I don't recommend this at all. It took ages. And because I mixed up all the resin to start with, the resin was really quite warm by the time I got to the end, and it was even more difficult to move. So yeah, don't do it this way. Just pour like you would normally pour and run around each edge of the box with a micro brush or a cocktail stick without scratching the mould, just to get rid of any stuck bubbles. This was not the best method I could have chosen, and it's definitely one I wouldn't do again. So learn from my mistakes and don't do it this way. It didn't run anywhere though, and I did leave it to cure overnight before I did the next colour. So once I'd done the whole black section, then I started with the white, and I did exactly the same. Mixed the glitter with the clear resin and just use the glitter as the colour. This again was not the best way to do it, and although it worked, I wasn't happy with it, I've got to be honest. It could have done with some white colour, and you'll see why later. Once it had cured the following day, I decided to put some blue and red on opposing edges of the chessboard. I thought it would give it a really Christmassy feel, and it will match up with the colours of the pieces. So I poured it out and made sure that I covered every edge and got rid of any potential bubbles around the edges and the sides, and then I swung it round and immediately poured the red. Now this red is a Hemway red glitter, and it is stunning. It is the sparkliest red glitter I've come across. I'll put the link in the description box below, but if I miss anything, please do get hold of me. Write a comment and tell me I've missed it, because I'm getting old and my memory's not as good as it used to be. Following day, it's time for the next step, and I'm using some super glue to super glue some magnets to the back of this board. These are the strongest magnets that I could find on Amazon at short notice, and I want them to stay where I'm putting them, so I'm super gluing them to make sure they stay in the centre of each of the squares. Takes a little while, but once I've done that, then I'm going to use some Vista white colourant with Let's Resin, and I'm completely covering the back. I don't have enough to fill up the mould, but I can do another layer, that's no big deal. I just want the magnets not to move, to stay where they're meant to be. And the following day, I just fill the mould up from the back with white resin. Again, using Vista white pigment and Let's Resin, and I leave it to cure. So as soon as I turn it over, I can see that there's an issue. I can actually see the magnets through the white resin. Now I know it was just glitter, there was no white pigment in there, but it's quite annoying that I can see the magnets through them. The mould was beautiful though. So I decided to use some Cricut cut snowflakes. Black on the white squares and white on the black squares. Now to be honest, the black did not need white snowflakes because you couldn't see the magnets. However, I love those little snowflakes and I just wanted to smother the whole board in it. It is a bit over the top, I'll give you that, but it's Christmas. Christmas is over the top, right? I keep convincing myself anyway. It was so much fun to put those little snowflakes on. And the white ones are gorgeous. They all are gorgeous, to be fair. I just randomly picked a few designs on the Cricut and I cut them out. Now I wasn't really happy about the neatness of my edges, so I decided to use some PBO vitriol paint to fill in the cracks and to make it neater. You could see through the gaps to inconsistencies, and I just wanted to make it consistent and neat. You don't have to do this part, but I decided to do it. And I also decided to colour the edges in silver using my Deco Colour Premium Silver pen, which I swear by, and I did have to coat this twice, but I love the silver and I think it just gives it an edge that is special. Now it's time for tinsel. As it's Christmas. I do have a thing for tinsel. I absolutely love tinsel, and the more tinsel around the better in my opinion, and they come in such gorgeous colours these days, so why not snip a little bit off of one of your gorgeous colour tinsel strands and use it in your resin. I did it before and I love the results, and I'm gonna do it again this year. So I'm trimming up a piece of tinsel and I'm just snipping all the bits off, and this colour is stunning. It's very similar to colour changing foils that you can buy that I've used before, but it's already an amazing colour on its own. I just thought, well, I'm going to utilise this. But you can buy so many different colours of tinsels these days, can't you? It is a bit messy, but oh, what fun it was. And I did exactly the same with the red tinsel. And that's my two colours for the chess pieces. I'm going to be using Let's Resin for this. I love this resin. If you haven't seen my You Must Watch This video, I will link it in the top right hand corner. You really must watch it. Now I mixed up far too much resin, but I was going to use it for another project that I had to one side anyway, so take no notice of the fact that I have a huge cup of resin for these little tiny pieces. The main issue with these pieces is that they trap air, and you have to get the air out. And the only way you can get them out is through squeezing them once they're half full. Once I'd got rid of the air that was trapped in them, then I could put my tinsel in. Now this method that I'm using here with the back of a paintbrush, again, wasn't the best method. I did come up with a better method in the second lot, and I'll show you that a bit later. But this did work. So all I was doing was pushing the tinsel into the resin. I didn't want the whole piece filled with resin. I wanted it kind of 3/4 full of resin with the glitter in it. So that's what I'm doing. And yes, I did the whole set at once, making sure there's no air trapped inside. Put that one to one side, and then I'll do another one. This was a messy process, but I absolutely had so much fun. It was a lot of fun. And I'm just showing you that you can see the tinsel through the mould so that you know you've got it to the top of the piece as well, if you're going to do it that way. Now I'm showing you here a close-up view of getting the air out. Every piece in this chess set has the potential to trap bubbles. So you really do need to watch those bubbles and to make sure you get them out. And then I filled up the whole lot with 3/4 clear resin and the tinsel. The tinsel itself was purchased from a local store, so I can't link that in the description box below, but I will link everything else. The following day they were ready for the colour. Now I'm going to put with these ones the sparkly blue azure glitter at the bottom. It's a stunning glitter and it will shine up through the pieces that have iridescent blue tinsel in them. It will give them an even more blue flash of colour. It's weird the way it shines up through clear resin. If you put colour at the bottom, it is absolutely beautiful. Now I am leaving a little gap at the top because I need to put some magnets in here. So the following day I glue in with super glue my magnets, making sure they are going to be the right polarity for connection with the board. That's why I've put a black mark on the top of every magnet so I know which way it's facing, and all the pieces get their own little magnet. Following day I can demould the little pieces and I'm so excited. I decided just to show you a couple of them. One of them came out very easy, which was the knight, and it is gorgeous. In my opinion, that tinsel is just stunning. The fact that it's clear with colour through it is just awesome. I then decided to show you a more tricky one to demould, and that was the king. The larger pieces are harder to come out, and even though I squirted them with isopropyl alcohol, it was a bit tricky. But eventually it came out and the mould is perfectly usable again, and it is gorgeous. The detail in these pieces are second to none. Absolutely lovely. So with the red pieces, I decided to give you a quick run through guide. I half filled the pieces with resin and got rid of the bubbles. I then used tweezers to add in the tinsel pieces that I cut earlier. This was a lot simpler than using the back of a paintbrush. I could actually guide where they were going. Once they were cured, I then topped them up to the top, this time with red glitter resin. When they were half cured, I placed a magnet on the top, and it did sink a little bit too far sometimes. Could have done with leaving the resin to cure a little bit more before I did this, then they wouldn't have sunk so much. Then it's time to demould. Always great demoulding day. I love demoulding day, and the pieces are amazing. This chess set mould is far superior to the one I used before. I had one pawn mould before. This time I had 8. It was that quick and easy to make. The pieces are gorgeous. They're the right sort of size and I love it. I had a little technical issue with the magnets, but the magnets in the pieces were a little too far away from the magnets in the board. They needed to be on the bottom. But considering the angle of that, they didn't do too bad. I absolutely loved making this chest set, and I hope that you've got something out of this video, even if just knowing that your magnets have to be close together. Don't forget, a thumbs up is always appreciated, and a comment will always get answered. I always answer my comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Come back and see me next week, because you never know what I'm going to be up to. I never know what I'm going to be up to. Have a great week. Happy crafting, and bye for now.